Okay, good morning, Year 10. So, as promised, this is just the detailed explanations for the task that was set for you earlier in the week. The only problems that people had was actually just with this task here, so that's just the one that I'm going to go through. So, the problems didn't really happen on the first two questions where you had to find A here and B here. It tended to happen on these two here where you had to find C or where you had to find D. And I think I know what the reason for that is. So, if you just have a look at these questions, first of all, you'll notice that on the questions, when you're looking for A here, it is already opposite the angle that you have there of 72 degrees. And likewise, 6 is already opposite the angle of 46 degrees. On B, B is opposite 55 degrees and 9.5 is opposite the 65 degrees. On the other two questions, there was a bit more of a problem because what you were looking for, or what you had, was not opposite the angles that you were given. So, for example, if you look at C, C is opposite the angle of 110 degrees, but you can't use this angle here of 36 degrees because you don't know this side opposite. So therefore, what you had to do was you had to figure out, if you're going to use this side of 14 centimeters, you had to figure out this angle here to be able to find out what C was. On D, we had a similar situation, so D was opposite this angle of 80 degrees, but if you wanted to use this side of 11 centimeters, you had to use this angle here, which you weren't given straight away. So the angle here of 57 degrees should not have been what you've used. So if what I've just said has helped you to realise what your mistakes were, you might want to pause the video now and redo questions C and D again, just to see if you can get them right. So you might want to pause the video right now. Now I'm going to go on to just those first few questions. So question A and B I'll do rather quickly because most people tend to get these right. So on A, we could see that we had A that we were looking for here and the angle opposite, which is 72 degrees. So I could set that up as A over sine of 72. And then I had this side here, which was 6 centimeters. And the opposite angle here was 46 degrees. So that would be 6 over sine of 46 degrees. And then A is being divided by sine of 72 degrees, so I multiply both sides by sine of 72 degrees to get A equals 6 times sine of 72 degrees divided by sine of 46 degrees. Type that into your calculator and you'll get that A is equal to 7.9327, and it goes on and on and on. It asks for 3 significant figures, so therefore that's our first, second, third significant figure. So 2 afterwards, so that means we're just going to round down. So A is equal to 7.93 centimeters. On to B. So we were looking for B here. The opposite angle here was 55 degrees. So we could set that up as B over sine of 55 degrees is equal to 9.5 over sine of 65 degrees. And then B is being divided by sine of 55 degrees. So I will times both sides by sine of 55 degrees. So 9.5 times by sine 55 divided by sine of 65. And just type that into your calculator and you should get that B is equal to 8.5864, on and on and on. So to 3 significant figures, that's going to be 1, 2, 3. It's a 6 after the 8, so that's going to round it up. So it's going to become B is 8.59 centimeters to 3 significant figures. So those two people didn't tend to have a problem with. Okay, so it's these two questions that people found a little bit more difficult. So if we try to set these up, so first of all, we're looking for C in this question, and you can see the angle opposite is 110 degrees. So I could write that as C over sine of 110 degrees. Then I can only use this side here of 14 centimeters because I don't know what the other side is. And then that means that this angle opposite that is what I should be using. So I should be using this angle here. So the problem here is that I don't have that angle immediately available. However, as it's just a triangle, we could just add together the other two angles to get 146 degrees. And then we know that angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So take that away from 180, and that's just going to give us 34 degrees. So that angle there is 34 degrees. So it's possible that sometimes you may have to find that missing angle just to help you. So we said earlier on the last video that it's really, really important that it's the side and the angle opposite that side, okay? It can't be a different angle, otherwise, if I wanted to use the angle here of 36 degrees, so if I wanted to use this angle, then I would have to be using this side here. And at the moment, we have no way of finding that out. So let's get rid of that. So if we solve this that we have here, it's just exactly the same now as the questions before, just that I had to find that angle first. So C has been divided by sine of 110 degrees. So if we times both sides by 110 degrees, so then we'll get C is equal to 14 times by sine 110 divided by sine of 34. And then you should get that C is equal to 23.526, and it goes on and on and on. So round that to three significant figures. So 1, 2, 3 is a 2 after the 5. So it's just going to become 23.5 centimeters. On to the next one. So we can start to set it up the same as we did before. So we're looking for D here. We have the angle opposite, which is 80 degrees. So it will be D over sine of 80 degrees is equal to, and then I'll need to use 11. It's the only other side I have. 11 over sine of, if I look again here, the side of 11 centimeters is opposite this angle. So again, I need to find out what that angle is there. So again, I'll use the fact that angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. I can add together the 57 and the 80 to get 137 degrees. Take that away from 180, and I'll get that missing angle is 43 degrees. So it's 11 over sine of 43 degrees. Again, we'll just rearrange the equation. So D's being divided by sine of 80 degrees. So we'll multiply both sides by sine of 80. So we have D is equal to 11 times by sine 80 divided by sine 43. And that will give you that D is equal to 15.88403, on and on and on. And to three significant figures, 1, 2, 3. It's an 8 here after the 8, so that means it's going to round up. So D is going to be 15.9 centimeters to three significant figures. So the answers were given to you in the original video, but it's good that quite a lot of you got into contact with me and said I didn't get the right answer for C and D, and that's exactly what I want you to do. So if you don't quite understand why you haven't got the right answer, please make sure that you leave a comment just so that I can go through them and understand where you've gone wrong. Remember, normally in class, you just put your hand up and ask, and then we'd probably stop the class. There'd be quite a few people making that mistake, and we'd just go through it and make sure that everybody understood. So as we're not in class as usual, just leave a comment and show my homework, and I'll do a follow-up video like this every time, okay? Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.